change it if I could. I don't like wasting time. I'd rather
I moved to California when I was 10 years old. My family and I drove 4 days and 3 nights to California. It was really hard when we first got here. You know, we came from a small suburb called Robbins, very poor neighborhood, so it's not like we were running here with a lot of cash. And you know, it's very expensive out here in California, so we just went from hotel to motel. I remember one of the sweetest memories, well, fondest memories of mine is our first Christmas here in California. And I don't think my little brother and sister remember because I think they still believe in Santa Claus, but we had to go shop at this place called The Alley to get our toys, and you know, bought them for very cheap, and we put them under the tree ourselves. And you know, that was just like a sweet memory to me. Like, even though it wasn't a normal Christmas, we didn't get Santa or that little thing, we still had a fun time, even though we were in a small little hotel. You know, one room with a fake paper tree that my sister and I made and taped together, well, not taped together, but pasted together with powder and water. We still had a fun time, so I love that. But I don't know, I didn't have a lot of pressure. My parents didn't put a lot of pressure on me. You know, I did auditions. The first thing I got was a National Kmart commercial, and then shortly after that I got a Cold Case episode, and then maybe like a few months later I got a TV movie called The Wool Cat that got me a SAG nomination. So I mean, it didn't happen that fast for me, but me talking about it makes it seem like it happened fast, but at the time it didn't happen fast. And I can't imagine the stress that my parents might have been going through, but I've been lucky to have great parents, so they never put any of that pressure on me. It was just an awesome experience, you know. It was my first year, completing my first year in California after moving from Chicago, so I was having a wonderful time, and getting a role like Keke Palmer meant a lot to me. Of course, with Lawrence Fishburne and Angela Bassett, everybody was really excited for me, and coming off my SAG nomination, they're, you know, excited that I got another good role and a lead role with that. People didn't really treat me differently, not that I can remember or really notice. My parents treated me like a normal kid, and that's how I saw everybody else to treat me. Getting a record deal at 12 years old was an experience. I don't know, not like good or bad, but it was just an experience. I had a fun time doing my first album, got released when I was 13, went on tour, had a lot of fun with that. So it was fun, I enjoyed it, and I wouldn't regret it for the world. It didn't necessarily sell as much as I like to, of course, but second time around, I'm older, so that was one experience, and I'm getting ready to do another. Being 12 years old when I first got my record deal, I didn't have as much creative control as I'd like to. So definitely coming to my second album and me being 17, I'm definitely putting in even more effort than I did then, because I can now, and putting my all into it. Madea Family Reunion was a huge success. You know, I love Tyler Perry. I love doing that movie, working on that movie, being in Atlanta. I love that city. Because of that movie, I love that city. So I only have positive things to say about that experience. I love doing it. It was my first comedy that people had ever seen me do. They used to see me do, like, you know, Keke Palmer or The Wool Cat, dramatic stuff. So I was excited to do Madea's Family Reunion. I had a lot of fun doing it. It's one of my greatest films that I did, I feel. Tyler Perry is a great director. I actually felt very privileged, that being the first movie that he ever directed. He didn't direct Diary of a Mad Black Woman, so the second time around he did direct Madea's Family Reunion, and I was happy to be in the film that he directed. You know, actually people don't know, but the scene that I said, the line that people, every time people see me, they always say, I'm not afraid to whoop an old woman. And that scene was actually improv. Tyler told me to just go for it, do whatever I wanted, just act off of him, playing Madea, and to say whatever I wanted. So when he said action, I just started improv and saying whatever. And one of the lines was, I'm not afraid of no old woman. Though my first album, So Uncool, didn't sell, you know, that well, I've had wonderful success with soundtracks like for Jump In and for Night at the Museum. And I guess my best way that I can explain that is just, it was very well promoted. When I did Jump In, Disney Channel played it 100 times. They promoted the album, they promoted the soundtrack, and Night at the Museum, same thing. Played the song, you know, had it up there, played it at the end of the film, so people knew about it. And one of the things that I noticed when I went on tour and when I was out in the towns, going different places with my music, a lot of people were like, I can't wait to buy your album, and it had already been out for like 2 months. So I think that's the main thing, was that, like, a lot of people didn't know about my album, so they couldn't buy it. And with the soundtracks, people knew. They knew Jump In was coming out this day, they knew that the soundtrack was coming out that day, and same deal with like Night at the Museum and things like that. So I think that was the main reason, you know, I think the main reason why my album didn't sell as much as it could have was because people weren't really aware of it. when my album didn't succeed the way that I wanted it to, I was shooting a film. I was shooting the long shots, so I had to learn how to play football. And then on the weekends, my mother and I were still trying to find ways to promote the album. So we're going on different city tours. We're going on tours to the Kmart store. We're going on tours for the Jingle Jam tour with Disney Channel. So I was doing a bunch of things at once, and it got very stressful for me at one point. And I was just like, I'm just so tired. I don't want to do it anymore. And I kind of was like, I don't want to do music at all, even though that's where my heart is. I got so fed up with the music business and it being so much difficult for me to understand in the acting that I kind of gave up in a way. And I guess that's how I felt when my album didn't succeed. I just felt like giving up. I felt like nothing was how it seemed. It didn't go the way that I always thought it would when you got with a record label. I felt like everything would be absolutely finished and perfectly done, and they would sell it like a Christmas package. But that wasn't the way that it was, and that was okay. And now that I'm 17, the way that I see things is that you have to work. You can't only depend on a label. You have to also work within yourself, get out there, go to different places, let people know when your album's coming out, go to radio stations, do everything you can. So at the end of the day, if your album didn't sell, you know that you yourself did everything you could. And, you know, because that's what you do when stuff doesn't go well sometimes. You start to second guess yourself and think, oh, did I do everything that I could? So this time around, I'm definitely doing everything that I can. So if my album doesn't sell, I have no reason to be disappointed at all with myself. You know, because I know that I did all I could. Hey, welcome to the place where I answer your questions. Today's question is by Sadia or Sadaya. She asks, what is it like being famous? That's such a weird question, and I never know how to answer it because I never think of me being like famous. All I can say is I just continue to be myself. When people come up to me, it's really cool because they ask me for autographs and stuff like that, and it makes me feel appreciated because they like my work. So that's a good part. And then sometimes it's also weird because I'll be with my friend and maybe it's their birthday and I'll be getting asked to sign autographs, and I'll feel so bad because I feel like I'm messing up their day. So I have to say, with anything, being famous is good and bad. It has great points and then it has bad points.
Chance to read into me. Welcome to my